Welcome back to part 2 of the Relationship, Sex and Health Education Parent and Carer Information presentation. In this sequel, we will be discussing the objectives, pedagogy, climate for learning, resources and other important elements of the curriculum. Pedagogy. At Herne, children will be taught relationships, sex and health education as part of a timetabled, graduated and age-appropriate PSHE programme. Sex education, as already stated, is not taught until Year 6. The PSHE leaders liaise with the science and computing leads to ensure that the subjects taught build on and develop their existing knowledge and understanding. All of the compulsory subject content covered at Herne is age-appropriate and developmentally appropriate. It is taught sensitively and inclusively, with respect to the backgrounds and beliefs of pupils and parents and carers, while always with the aim of providing pupils with the knowledge they need to support their well-being, health and understanding of safe, healthy relationships. Class teachers are responsible for delivering the RSE curriculum, as they are best placed to do so. The class teachers know their pupils well and have built a rapport with the learners in their class. Teachers at Herne have had training from the PSHE leads and are experienced, professional and sensitive in their delivery of age-appropriate content. Children will be taught using a variety of stimulus and resources: matching games, labelling activities, extracts from books, class discussions, interactive whiteboard activities, and video clips. Climate for learning. Before any of our PDL lessons, we establish a safe and comfortable environment. As a whole class, we generate ground rules together. This is a really important part of distancing the learning, so children are aware not to bring up personal stories or ask questions about personal experiences. It is also a very powerful way to enable everyone to feel comfortable and safe at the beginning of the lesson. Children are very familiar with and respectful of ground rules, as all teachers do this at the start of most PSHE lessons. The delivery of relationships and sex education is taught through our graduated programme, so it is age-appropriate, taught in a factual and non-judgmental way, allowing scope for children to ask questions in a safe environment. RSE is taught by the child's class teacher with at least one other adult present, generally the class LSA. This is important because the children have a good rapport with their class teacher and class LSA, who know the children well at this stage in their learning and are the best people placed to support them. The lessons will be carried out in class with their usual classmates. We do not split the children into gendered groups, as research suggests that it is important they are with children and adults they are familiar with, and therefore will hopefully feel most comfortable and secure with. The Department for Education informed that all children should learn about the changes that happen to both males and females. This is a key part of understanding one another, being respectful towards one another, and understanding the changes their fellow pupils may be experiencing. Arrangements for children with special educational needs and disabilities. As with all curriculum subjects, RSE and health education must be accessible for all pupils. When planning our RSE and health education curriculum, we ensure we take into consideration the needs of pupils with SEND. Therefore, we may tailor our programme in order to make it accessible and age-appropriate for individual children's needs. As with all teaching, we ensure our RSE and health curriculum is sensitive, age-appropriate, developmentally appropriate and delivered with reference to the law. Faith groups and parental feedback. At Herne, it is important to us that we have a good understanding of our pupils' faith backgrounds and positive relationships between the school and the local faith communities to help to create a constructive context for the teaching of these subjects. The religious background of all pupils are taken into account when planning teaching. We aim for the topics that are included in our curriculum to be appropriately and sensitively handled. At Herne, we ensure we comply with the relevant provisions of the Equality Act 2010, under which religion or belief are amongst the protected characteristics. The Department for Education states that, in all schools, teaching should reflect the law, including the Equality Act 2010, as it applies to relationships, so that young people clearly understand what the law allows and does not allow, and the wider legal implications of decisions they may make. If any parents or carers would like to consult with us about our relationship, sex and health education programme, we welcome your feedback and working in partnership with you. I should say that information to get in touch with us will be at the end of this PowerPoint. Lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender plus LGBT plus. The quotes that you can see are taken from the Department for Education's statutory guidance on RSE and health education. Pause the slide if you need time to read these quotes. At Herne, we are committed to developing global citizens who respect diversity and demand equality for all. Therefore, we see it as our duty to ensure that LGBT plus communities are represented throughout our curriculum, and not just our PSHE curriculum. We live in a diverse society and we serve a diverse community. It is essential that every child and family feels seen and represented through our teaching and resources. Every child we teach should be able to see themselves and their family reflected in the resources we present to them. Therefore, our relationship, sex and health education aims to be inclusive and representative of the LGBT plus community, taking into consideration the Equality Act 2010 and the protected characteristics. Our coverage of LGBT plus relationships is age appropriate and sensitively delivered in line with the Department for Education's guidance. Year 4 Relationships and Health Education. Historically, we have previously taught puberty in Year 5. However, primary schools must have regard to the Department for Education's statutory guidance on preparing pupils for the physical and emotional changes of puberty before they experience them. For this reason, it has been recommended by the PSHE Association, signposted by the DfE, that teaching about puberty should begin in Year 4. Therefore, children at Herne are taught how their bodies develop and change during puberty in the summer term of Year 4. The following content is covered in our Year 4 Growing and Changing unit. In this unit, pupils will learn the process of growing from birth to old age, the external genitalia and internal reproductive organs, how to manage the physical changes that happen during puberty, including periods and wet dreams, how to maintain personal hygiene during puberty, how and why emotions may change during puberty, where to get appropriate help, advice and support in relation to puberty, and the importance of good sleep. So why teach puberty in Year 4? It is essential to teach about puberty before pupils experience it to ensure that their physical, emotional and learning needs are met, and that they have the correct information about how to take care of their bodies, their emotions, and understand how to keep themselves safe. This includes being able to tell someone about behaviour that worries them or makes them feel uncomfortable. By teaching about puberty, you are helping to safeguard pupils. Providing accurate information about the physical and emotional changes that take place during puberty is extremely important. By understanding their bodies and the changes they will experience, pupils will be confident in knowing how to respect and care for their own bodies. The opportunities to explore changing feelings will ensure they are prepared for adulthood and will lay down the foundation for more complex learning on sexual and reproductive health later on in their education. At Herne, we've taken the guidance from the DfE, PSHE Association, Brooke and Medway. On the following slides are several examples of the resources used in the Year 4 Growing and Changing unit. Feel free to pause the slides at any moment so you can have a look at some of the resources we use. We try to use a variety of resources, including videos with real children's responses to questions about puberty. On this slide is a video taken from one of the PSHE Association's accredited resources, which talks through menstruation.
A period is part of something called the menstrual cycle, which starts in girls when they reach puberty, any time from around the ages of 8 to 16. It happens to girls all over the world and it's perfectly natural. We have this cycle to produce eggs for fertilisation. It's an important part of the reproductive process that enables women to become pregnant and have a baby if they want to. During the menstrual cycle, the uterus prepares itself for implantation of a fertilized egg. If this does not occur, the uterus lining is shed from the body. This is known as menstruation or a period. Let's look at the cycle. The start of the cycle, day 1, is when bleeding from the vagina begins. This is caused by the loss of the lining of the uterus, with a little blood. Around days 4 to 7, the loss of blood stops. The lining of the uterus begins to thicken and an egg cell starts to mature in one of the ovaries. At about day 14, the mature egg cell is released from the ovary. This is called ovulation. The egg cell travels down the fallopian tube towards the uterus. If the egg cell meets and joins with a sperm cell, it is fertilized. It attaches to the lining of the uterus and the woman becomes pregnant. If the egg cell does not meet with a sperm cell, the lining of the uterus begins to break down and the cycle repeats.
Here are some more examples of resources used in the Year 4 Growing and Changing unit. As mentioned, children will be required to use the correct scientific language for parts of the body. The use of problem pages shown here helps to distance the learning from their own personal stories, while still allowing them to discuss situations and experiences they may encounter as they grow and change. I'm going to stop the video now, and there will be a third video discussing the Year 6 curriculum, pedagogy and resources used.